Okay, as promised, I have an absolute finalized case study for dealing with traffic, pedestrians, motorists, etc. I need about an hour. This video is going to be about an hour long, so yeah, it's about 12:40 now. I need a lot of time to work on this video. It took me over a month to finalize this, and I would go to work, see something, and then add to it. I think this is a complete guide. Hopefully it is. This is also good for you young people going for your license now. Okay, and this comes from years of experience, years of seeing it all. The pedestrian must understand that while they have the right of way, they can and will be injured if not careful. A lot of pedestrians feel, hey, I got the right of way. Well, you having the right of way and you getting to where you're supposed to go alive can be two different things. The pedestrian must never run into an intersection or across the street. A vehicle may be attempting to turn and may not be prepared to stop for the pedestrian who is carelessly running in their path. I've seen pedestrians, the public bus is across the street and up the hill. And I've seen pedestrians, adults, bolt. And the car's driving along the way, lights green, or maybe the car's it's red and the car has time to make a right on red because it's not 8 o'clock yet. Because you can make a right on red before 8 a.m. on this particular section. And the pedestrian will look at their watch, 7:45, I can make a right on red, motorist rather, and the pedestrian will be running out, okay? I've had to actually grab pedestrians and yank them back because they ran right in front of a fucking car because they wanted to get to the public bus in time. The bus comes every 10 minutes. How late are you gonna be when you're in the hospital with a broken hip? The pedestrian should wait 1 or 2 seconds before crossing for the simple fact that vehicles may not stop when prompted by the signal. Just because the signal is red doesn't mean the car is going to stop. A lot of cars are like, oh shit, it's yellow, and jam their gas and go flying, and it turns red and they keep on flying. Okay? Wait 1 or 2 seconds, because what that 1 or 2 seconds will do is it will give you time to make sure the vehicle stopped. You never know what the person's thinking in the car. They're thinking, I'm late for work. I gotta get my kid at school. Isn't being in 5 minutes? Okay? The pedestrian must understand that if a vehicle, in particular truck or bus, is double parked, oncoming traffic must come completely across the dividing lines in order to pass said vehicle. The pedestrian must slowly move into the intersection and look carefully to ensure the oncoming vehicle sees them. That means if you have a delivery truck or a bus or some shit, it will be stopped. It'll be double parked, so it'll be out in the street a little bit. If a car wants to go around it, that car must go all the way around. The best thing to do is to walk into the street and use that vehicle as a shield. And peer out to make sure that the cars coming around the corner can see you. The pedestrian must understand that in the event of a hazardous weather, rain, snow, fog, darkness, okay, motorist visibility will be reduced and their ability to stop will be hindered. I had a guy one time, it had just snowed, there was ice on the road. The guy almost pulled his son into the street. I grabbed the guy, pushed him back, and the guy was arguing with me, and the fucking light was red. And I'm like, listen, the road is full of ice. Just because the guy hits the brake doesn't mean he's gonna stop. They can skid out, okay? You might have rain, snow, whatever, and even if the car touches the brake, they can still come flying forward. Take a deep breath and wait. Also, fog, they can't see shit. Okay, I can't see my hand in front of my face in fog weather. You wanna talk about terrified? Ooh. The pedestrian must always observe the traffic officer. Hello. For the simple fact the traffic officer may see or understand something they do not. Even if you're an adult, and even if the traffic officer is only watching children, he or she may see something you don't see. An emergency vehicle coming flying on the road. A person tripped and fell. Okay, he may see you never know what he may see. Okay, also, I know when the car's not gonna stop. I'll literally be like, not gonna stop. Okay, so if the traffic officer says get back or goes like this, stay the fuck back. Okay, because they see something you don't see. Trust me, they do. Guys in the back of my fucking head now. The pedestrian must understand that if the lane is backed up to the corner, the opposite lane may be free and vehicles may be traveling at normal speed. The pedestrian should stop behind the vehicle that is closest to the curb and peer into oncoming lane before crossing. Festivus a few years ago, I had this lane of traffic backed up to the corner entirely because of a traffic jam or okay, with a traffic jam, it's a long road. But there might be a red light down there. And this traffic might be backed up entirely up to this curb. And this kid, young guy, 2021, walked into the road and actually a car came and he walked into the side of the car. He was okay though. One more second, he would have been killed. God saved him, not me. If the traffic is backed up to the corner and you're at the corner and you see all cars here, stand here and peer out because these cars may have free. So if you just walk the fuck in front of the road, okay, you never know. A lot of people say, well, the cars are backed up here. Even though the light is green, the cars are backed up. I'm safe, okay? Well, you're safe and you walk out and this way coming down at you. The pedestrian must understand that if vehicles are backed up into the intersection itself, there are two incontrovertible facts. This means that the light is red, or there's a traffic jam, or there's an accident, and the cars are actually backed up into the intersection itself. First, the motorists in all directions will be furious. Second, the motorists may not be able to see other vehicles and pedestrians, depending on blind spots. The pedestrians should enter the road while observing the motorists themselves. Don't look at the car, look at the guy inside the car. They should be sure to point in the direction they want to go and be sure every motorist they cross in front of sees them. The pedestrian may observe a vehicle that is backed up into the middle of the intersection. The pedestrian should use the vehicle for cover and peer out before crossing. Now this means that when you're walking into the intersection is backed up entirely, walk out and look at the motorists' faces because they need to get fucking red, they need to beat the horn, fuck you. Okay, walk out and tell the pedestrian, or the motorist rather, I like to cross that way. Okay, cool. Okay, just point and wave and say thank you because you want to get across alive, okay? The pedestrian must understand if they wish to cross in the middle of the street and not at the designated crosswalk, they do so at their own risk. I had an incident where I saw a guy, and the guy was coming out of jail. He was coming out of jail. Alright, be realistic about that. Okay? A few minutes later, I see the guy coming down the block. His friend is carrying him. And I'm thinking maybe he's sick. And there's a hospital at the block. He's going to the hospital. Now, if he's going to the hospital, I can't stop him. Because if I stop him, I'm delaying medical attention. They went down the block and up the hill. Okay? I can't stop someone going to the hospital unless they're a murder suspect. So I let it go. 5 minutes later, fire department comes. Where's the accident? And I told one of my fathers, and I told a guy on one of those motorbikes who I saved a few months earlier, if you see anything, tell fire. And I said, I don't see the fire was going in 5 different directions. They didn't know what the fuck to go. Woman comes and says, was there an accident? Or I forget what she says. I said, fire's looking for an accident victim. I can't find shit. Maybe it's a false alarm. That was my brother that got hit. What happened was the man walked down the block where I couldn't see him and tried crossing the street. He got hit by a car down the block from me. I didn't see it. His friend saw it, picked him up, took him to the hospital. He came out of the hospital a few minutes later, thank God, but okay. And next couple of times, he lived in one of the buildings. And next time I saw that guy, he crossed the street by me. And when I pointed and said, watch, he stepped back. Okay, so if you want to cross the road in the middle of the road and not at the crosswalk, you gotta understand cars can be flying any fucking place. Then, okay, you have two cars that are parked. You step out, they get you. And I had a bus one time. Bus was stopping too far back down. Girl got off and was like, get over now. I told her to walk up to me. And I said, listen, you have to come to me. Because if you're down there, I may not see you. But even if I do see you, I won't get to you in time. Okay, so if you feel you need to do that, understand that if you get hit, it's your fault. Sorry, it is. The pedestrian may drop an item while crossing. I had a kid do this, and I wrote this when I got home from break. If so, the pedestrian should ensure any vehicle sees that may approach knows they're bending over to retrieve that item. If there's a traffic officer, the pedestrian should be sure the traffic officer knows they are retrieving the item. I had a kid in the road. In fact, the guy that got hit by the car, it was his nephew. It was his nephew. That woman that said my brother, that was his mother. This kid drops an item, he bends over, doesn't tell me, and I see him getting up. I'm like, oh shit, he didn't tell me. If you are gonna bend over the middle of the fucking road, you need to make sure you look in all directions to make sure that no car is coming. And if there's a traffic officer there, ask the traffic officer, I have to get my phone. Please help me. And the traffic officer will stand there like this, and he'll make sure you're safe. He'll stand right above you and look in all directions and make sure you're safe. Truth. And understand whatever the item is, it's not worth your life. My phone costs $800. How much does your life cost? The pedestrian won't normally cross at the crosswalk in front of the vehicle closest to the intersection. However, if said vehicle has stopped too close to the crosswalk and the pedestrian feels safer walking behind the vehicle, the pedestrian must be sure to signal the motorist as some motorists may back up without looking. So, if you have a car that is too close to the intersection and you don't feel safe walking in front of it, and I've done this too, you may feel safer walking behind it. I've seen fucking people, oh shit, I'm too close to the curb, put the car in reverse and start backing up. With pedestrians behind them, I bang the fucking windows in. Okay? Yeah. If you want to do that, make sure that you see that motorist is not going to back up. And don't be shy to say, listen, I'm going to go behind you. I've done it before. Or I've told the motorist, listen man, that pedestrian, he's going behind you. Stay where you are. And I've said motorists get too close to the corner. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Chill. I don't give a fuck. I got more important things to worry about. Not a big deal. You're too close to the end. So what? No big fucking deal. I'll go around you. Or they'll go behind you. No big deal. I'll spot you. No big deal. We'll work it out. Didn't do anything malicious. The pedestrian must beware of all vehicles in the road. If there is a vehicle that is attempting to turn and the turn is delayed, it is likely that the motorist behind the vehicle will become agitated and attempt to race to the intersection. So for whatever reason, if that motorist can't make that turn right away, back in traffic, pedestrian, if he gets aggravated, he'll turn fast. Okay, so watch out. The pedestrian must be aware of a congested intersection. While it is unlikely the vehicles will be able to physically move during congestion, as congestion dissipates, the motorist may become agitated and make erratic moves. These moves may consist of running red lights, turning without a signal, and turning to the speed. That means when that intersection is backed up entirely, like I said before, once it starts to loosen up, you may get a motorist and be like, fuck this shit, brr. I've seen it. Every single thing you see me listing here, I have seen my own eyes. Yes. The pedestrian must understand, while the motorist is obligated to offer them the right of way at the crosswalk, the motorist is not obligated to wait forever. They must decide. And I've had people, adults, at the corner. Car stops for them. go or not. That motorist is not obligated to stay there forever. So if you look at the motorist and he stops the car, go out. Because if you just sit there, he's gonna say, okay, fuck you, and go. I can't force him to stay there forever. I don't normally yell at the pedestrian. Sorry. The pedestrian must understand that vehicles may come forward in spite of having a turn signal initiated, and vehicles may turn without a signal. They must take nothing for granted. You know how many times I saw the turn signal coming on and the guy went forward? How many times the guy turned without the signal? Don't think shit. The pedestrian must never use any electronic device while crossing the street. Put it down. You're texting? Okay. Put it down, cross the street, then text. Okay? I had a kid every fucking day playing this fucking video game on his phone. I'm like, kid, get the fucking ass out of here. And I said, listen, the real game is out here. This is the real game. Not that, that's bullshit. This is the real game. The pedestrian listening to anything via earphone must have one ear free of their device so they can hear the noises around them and respond accordingly. Remember the guy that walked out in the car? Okay, he had his headphones in. Take one headphone out, that way you can hear horns, noises, and the traffic officer. Okay. Because if both ears ring, blah, 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 okay, and I've seen guys, okay, they don't know what the fuck is going on. All they hear is the fucking music. Blaring rap music. Yo, motherfucker. Okay. You need to hear the reality. Rules for the motorists. The motorists must understand their goal is to arrive safely, not arrive 30 seconds early. This refers to motorists that want to jam their gas and run the red light. The red light lasts 30 seconds. Okay, you want to kill someone over it? The motorist must understand that it is not a benefit to kill someone to avoid arriving late. It's not. The motorist must understand even if the pedestrian or the vehicle is wrong, it is better to avoid the accident than go through an investigation. A lot of people do stupid shit. You may have a pedestrian walk directly in front of you on a green light. You may have a pedestrian not paying attention. You may have a pedestrian in a hurry, okay? Try as hard as you can to observe shit and try to avoid shit, okay? Know what the pedestrians are doing. Know what other motorists are doing. Know how to avoid the accident. Because I've seen cases where, not on my block, but next block over, or 5 blocks down, okay, I've seen cases where the pedestrian gets hit, you still gotta go through a police investigation. You gotta call an ambulance, wait for the ambulance to get there, give your name, your address, your phone number, and then have to go through a whole investigation with detectives. It may not be your fault, but you still gotta go through an investigation. So try as hard as you can to avoid the problems. Okay. Done with this page. The motorist must never use their cell phone while driving, period. They should instead use hands-free devices only, Bluetooth. Okay? Because this is not good. When you do this, you block this entire view of your face, and you have one hand on the wheel. The motorist must never pass the traffic officers in the middle of the road unless they've been specifically told order to do so. If the traffic officer's in the road, don't pass him. I've had guys that in the old light, when I had one single light will be blank because the light busted, and I gotta be the light myself. I gotta say, okay, the red light is blown out, so blank is red. And when blank would happen, I walk in the middle of the fucking road, and I got a kid keeping around one time. I'm like, buddy, behind me, don't go yet. Light's broken. I'm the light. It's red. Okay, there might be a bus unloading. Okay, if the traffic officer's in your way, stay behind him because the reason he's blocking you. And unless you're specifically told to go forward, stay behind him. When he says, okay, time to come forward now, do what he says. Okay, rules for the traffic officer. The traffic officer has absolute authority. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are, I don't care. Okay? Motorists and pedestrians understand their opinion is irrelevant, okay? I've had people fucking stop their car, lower the window, and give an opinion. I don't give a fuck, okay? I mean, maybe you should do, I don't give a fuck, okay? seriously. Okay, I got my orders from headquarters. I do what I'm told to do. Okay, I don't need to hear that you say, well, I shouldn't be helping old ladies, or I should be helping regular adults, or I should be waiting for. I don't need to hear your shit. Okay, I don't. Offering advice to a traffic officer is not wanted, and said advice in quotes, may contradict department policy and traffic laws. Okay, you may tell me to do something that contradicts my orders. I've had people tell me, why didn't I run on the road and grab that adult? Well, the adult crossed on their own at their own risk. I'm not gonna do that. I've had people get mad because I helped a pregnant woman. Tough shit. I got orders, you don't. Pedestrians must understand that if they choose to gamble with their life, the traffic officer is under no obligation, is not under any obligation to die while attempting to save them from their own stupidity. Okay? What they tell me is, if you're past 8th grade and you want to die, that is your problem. I've seen adults run in front of trucks on a green light. I don't care. I've seen adults running the road on a green light with the supervisor looking directly at me. Okay, if you want to gamble with your life, you cannot expect the traffic officer or anybody else to die trying to save you. What I normally do, I stand on the sidewalk and I yell, watch out! Okay, I'm not running in front of that fucking car for you. Light's green, car's coming. You walk in front of it, mwah. If the traffic officer gives an order to anyone, motorist or pedestrian, the order must be obeyed without question. Okay, that's the truth. I've had people say, why do I want to stop? Okay, I had a fucking guy one time, I told the guy stop. The guy's like, the light's green. I'm like, you see the cop, idiot? The order must be obeyed without question. Motorists and pedestrians may ask for explanation after the incident is passed, but at that moment, the order must be obeyed. I've had people stop and say, why did you say that? And I said, why? I said it because ambulance was coming real fast. Or I grabbed you and pulled you because that car was running over the light. Or yo, get the fuck out of the road because, okay, the road was collapsing. And that did happen last year. Fucking sinkhole came into the road. If the traffic officer points, look in the direction they're pointing. They intend for you to be aware of something. It may be a pedestrian, another vehicle, emergency vehicle, or person in distress. If I go like this, where my finger is, where your eye goes. I may have an emergency vehicle flying by. I may have an old lady that fell. Okay, you have to watch and see and observe. If the motorist or pedestrian cannot see the traffic light, for whatever reason, sun's in your face, I understand, they may ask the traffic officer to assist them. I've had people looking like this in the fucking car, don't worry, I'll see it. In the morning, the sun hits this way. I'm on this side, I'll see it, don't blind yourself. I can see, don't be shy to ask for help. The traffic officer must pay specific attention to children, elderly, disabled, anyone with injury, anyone recently undergone surgery, pregnant women, any other person may require extra care. That's for me. Okay, if these people may need extra attention. Okay. If the traffic officer orders a vehicle to cease on a green light, the vehicle must do so without question. The traffic officer may observe an emergency vehicle or pedestrian, but the vehicle must stop. If the traffic officer orders a vehicle pedestrian to detour, they must do so. There may be an emergency, construction, or other hazard, but the order must be obeyed. I've had times where I've said, okay, this lane of traffic is backed up this way. This lane of traffic is backed up a little bit. Ambulance coming down this way. Make a right on red, 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 make a right on red. I've had times you got a red light, car's in the way, vehicle can't get past, emergency vehicle can't get past, car, run the red light and go. You stop, you go on, okay? Whatever happens, happens. Okay, I can legally say you got a detour. Go around the block because I had an emergency. Guy fell down the middle of the road. Okay, car accident happened. You gotta move out the way now. Go around the next block over. Tough shit. When I say move, you move. The traffic officer. Okay. The traffic officer may request a vehicle traveling on a green light to stop temporarily, so they may pass. That means if the traffic officer has to get somewhere, he may say, "Psst, let me in. Okay, I have to pass. I have to get to that pedestrian or that emergency vehicle." The motorist of said vehicle must understand the traffic officer needs to reach a particular area immediately. So if you're traveling on a green light and I say, "Let me in real quick because I gotta get to do it. I gotta sneak in real quick." Okay. The motorist must observe the traffic officer and understand that the traffic officer may issue a sudden order if need arises. I could be standing like this, and actually stop, because something happened very fast. I saw someone fall. I see a truck, an emergency vehicle flying down the road. Okay? Something really bad happened, but I say stop and stop. The motorist must turn. Oh, these are more rules for motorists. I don't know if this guy here. One page is printed out of order. Weird. Almost picked it. Okay. The traffic officer, we'll get back to that later. The traffic officer may stand in the center of the intersection and see slow traffic and multiple pedestrians are traveling in multiple points and require assistance. That means if I stand in the center of the road and I stop all traffic, stop it. If an emergency vehicle must travel past a school bus, the traffic officer must ensure that no one is crossing the street by the school bus and the emergency vehicle will be guided through by the traffic officer. That means school bus, and I've had guys that getting off the school bus, they want to walk out, I say, get back. Stand in the middle of the road and guide the emergency vehicle through the school bus. All the pedestrians back, emergency vehicle comes through the school bus. If the emergency vehicle must travel past the school bus, the traffic officer must ensure that no one is crossing the street. I did that. Okay. The traffic officer will observe vehicles and pass through blind spots and will perfectly guide the vehicle. If you're traveling to a blind spot you can't see out of your eye, like if you're, like say for example, you're making a turn, and there's a car blocking your area, the traffic officer can come into the middle of the road, look, point, and tell you to go around, hit the curb. That way, okay, because you're driving around and you can't see past this point. So the traffic officer will stand there and guide you through. Okay. The traffic officer will escort pedestrians past school buses, that will park vehicles, or any situation that will cause a hazard. So if there's a traffic officer and there's a school bus, or double parked vehicle, truck, whatever, the traffic officer will stand there and make sure that no one is coming through a bad area and will stop cars. Yeah, okay. They will help guide if they're available. The traffic officer must obey their instincts. If they believe there is a 1% chance that it will happen, they must act. The traffic officer must issue loud and clear commands for pedestrians to cease and may even be called to restrain the pedestrian for their well-being. That means if I have to grab and pull you out of the way, tough shit. If I'm in the middle of the road and I see something happening real fast, I will grab and pull you out of the way. The traffic officer must refrain from using an electronic device with only exception of being an emergency call. That means the traffic officer can never use their cell phone unless they're calling 911 or calling someone to fix the traffic light. The traffic officer should never stop a bicyclist, skateboard, rollerblader for pedestrian crossing, as it will jeopardize the bicycle. Okay. Traffic officers should only stop the bicycle, skateboard, rollerblader to the injury. That means if you're a pedestrian and I got a bicycle coming, I'll tell you stop for the bicycle. Because if I stop the bicycle, he's gonna go flying forward. Same goes for skateboarders, rollerbladers. I'll only stop a bicycle, skateboarder, or rollerblader if they're gonna get hurt. Otherwise, I get you back and they go through. Because I can't afford to go fly off the fucking bike. If construction work is doing maintenance in the road and there is no visibly marked barrier, the traffic officer must stand as close to the workers as possible to the vehicles around them and to protect them from any hazards they may not observe. I had a guy from the city one time doing the marking. They spray the paint the fucking markers on the road. He wanted to look at the manhole cover. He stood in the middle of the fucking road and bent over like this. I had to stand next to him and say, you go around him, you go around him. Okay? Most of the time, construction will put a barrier up. But if a construction worker comes real fast, I'm here 5 minutes, I gotta mark something real quick, watch him. Or I watch him, but whatever. Okay. If there is a serious hazard, oil spill, sinkhole, whatever, the traffic officer must stand as close as possible and direct pedestrian vehicle traffic away from the area until it's been repaired or cordoned off. That means last year the sinkhole split open. I saw a woman walking around. Okay, then pulled her out of the way. I told guys to go around it, stop traffic for it. Yeah. Now we're gonna go back to the motorist. I don't know where the fuck this came from, but I had this goddamn motorist thing. I think I held these in order. There's like 10 more things for the motorist. You saw it, right? The motorist. Here it is, the motorist. The motorist must observe the traffic officer and understand the traffic officer in case a sudden order need arises. The motorist must turn no more than 10 miles per hour. The motorist must reduce speed and hazardous weather environment conditions. Each may be rain, snow, construction, emergencies. The motorist must look as far as possible turning for the fact that some pedestrian appears to be out of nowhere and in great haste. If you're making a turn in your car, you must look at every single thing. Look at the blind spot, look back, look forward, because you never know when you're coming this way, coming that way, okay? A guy might be thinking, oh shit, I gotta get this bus, run for the bus. I've seen parents who have their kid and run down the hill to the school bus, and I gotta hold them and wait, okay? So when you're making that turn, you gotta understand you may have a problem coming out of fucking nowhere. The motorist may go around a double parked vehicle, but must look at the side of the vehicle they are passing and must try to reduce speed. They must understand the vehicles will be headed in their direction and be closer than usual. If the sidewalk is clear, the motorist may jump the sidewalk to avoid a collision. That means if you're a motorist and you're going around a double parked truck, look as well as you can and go around. As you drive down, understand the cars coming this way are going to be very close to you. And as you drive down past the truck, this is the truck. Look very carefully, make sure no pedestrians are coming in front of the truck, very slowly. And if it's possible, like if the sidewalk is clear, there's no one on the sidewalk at all, make sure no one is on the sidewalk. You may jump up on the sidewalk and roll down. I tell people all the time, jump the fucking sidewalk, I don't care. Ride the sidewalk. I'd rather you ride the sidewalk and kill somebody. So you got a car coming this way, a car coming this way. I'll tell the car coming this way, you get on the sidewalk and drop down the sidewalk. Halfway, the car's like up on the curb halfway. That way you don't crash into the car head on. Okay, if jumping the curb and riding the sidewalk is gonna avoid a head on collision or avoid hitting a pedestrian, no big deal. I'm actually saying, I don't know how the fuck this guy must be here. Okay, the motorist may observe the delivery truck on the opposite side of the road. The motorists, they must understand the vehicles behind the double parked truck may not see them or make erratic moves. Motorists should slow their speed, observe said vehicle, and honk their horn to avoid head-on collision. That means if you're driving down the road and the double parked truck is on the opposite side, you reduce your speed and you pay attention, because the guys coming down going around it you may get a motorist, fuck this shit, boom. Okay, so even though the double parked cars on this side, you still gotta watch out for what's coming down. Okay, the motorist may wish to make a turn while the vehicle is partially blocking the intersection. They must assume that there is a pedestrian in their path. They must sound their horn and proceed no more than 10 miles per hour. If a traffic officer is on duty, they must ask the traffic officer to check their blind spot. That means as you're making a turn, if you can't see where you're going, and I've had a lot of times where the traffic's backed up, guys making a turn, you can't see where he's going, you go 10 miles an hour, if not 5, keep your foot on the brake, look every direction, and toot the horn. Traffic officer is there, ask him, may you please check for me. Don't be shy. The motorist may stop at the traffic light suddenly and realize they are blocking the crosswalk. The motorist will most likely be safe remaining where they are. However, if they wish to back up, they must check their rear in the event that pedestrians crossing behind them. If you park your car, stop your car for the traffic light, and you're too close to the crosswalk, maybe you're better off staying there. If not, check your mirror and if possible your backup camera to make sure no one's walking behind you. Very, I've had guys, fuck, I'm too close to the curb, boom, oh shit. The motorist must track their blind spot on mirrors during turns and lane changes. Mirrors, side view, rear view, and the blind spot, which is over your shoulder this way, over your shoulder this way. You must check around everything when you make that turn. You'd be surprised what you see there. You may get a guy in a bicycle running real fast and he come flying in fucking nowhere. The motorist must understand that if a parked vehicle or double parked vehicle is close to the intersection, they should assume a pedestrian is on the opposite side and the pedestrian not see them. If there is a parked vehicle or double parked vehicle and there's a pedestrian on the corner, that pedestrian may not see you. First girl's life I saved, her and I were in front of the car that was parked this way. This is the car, this is the street. I'm here, she's here. She went to walk out in front of the car and I knocked her out of the way. Okay? You may not see them, they may not see you. The motorist may notice pedestrians standing on the curb on the green light. If they are on the other vehicle, if there are no other vehicles in the road, period, the motorist may yield to the pedestrian. However, if there is any other vehicle in the area, the motorist should continue on their way. Reason being, if a motorist stops on a green light and allows pedestrians to road, another motorist may become agitated and attempt to pass the stop motorist. This will endanger the pedestrian. I have had pedestrians stop on a green light. No, I've had motorists stop on a green light with other motorists coming and tell the pedestrian to go. I tell the pedestrian, get back in the sidewalk, you get the fuck out of here. Okay, if there's no other vehicle around at all, period, stop, let them by, no big deal. But if there's any other vehicle anywhere on the road, and you tell the pedestrian to walk in the fucking road in the green light, the car behind you may go flying. The car behind you may think, okay, you're stopping. Okay, and they'll actually go around you, and as the pedestrian's walking out, they'll run the pedestrian right over. Okay, so if the light's green, just fucking go. Motorist, pedestrian. Okay. The motorist must never use their cell phone while driving, period. They should instead use hand-free devices only. That I got, right? Yeah. Never can, okay. Yeah, this I got. I got these mixed up a little bit. Yeah, I missed one page. Okay. Traffic officer, motorist. Okay. School bus emergency vehicle. Okay, you know what it is? The school bus rules and the traffic officer rules got mingled a little bit, interacted, okay? So we've already gone over all these traffic, okay? We've already gone over all these rules while dealing with the school bus. If the school bus is stopped for the purpose of dropping off and picking up passengers, federal law mandates all vehicles, with the exception of emergency vehicles, in response, stop until the school bus finishes pick or drop off. The school bus will more effectively activate its side panel stop signs to indicate this. That means when a school bus stops, they put the side panel stop sign up. Federal law says unless you are an emergency vehicle in response, you must stop, period. If you gotta go to the bathroom, you shit your pants. You must stop, period. And only the emergency vehicle may go by, and I already covered that, okay? And even emergency vehicles that are just casually driving around, they'll stop out of respect. If a school bus is stopped and does not have the side panel stop signs deployed, motorists can go around it. However, they must understand it is possible the bus driver forgot to deploy the stop signs. It is possible the stop signs are malfunctioning. It is in the case of motorists must go around the slowest possible speed, 5-10 miles per hour. Motorists must still look in pedestrians and must cross. Then realize the stop signs are not deployed. The motorist must understand the driver of the school bus may deploy stop sign while they are alongside the bus. This requires most immediately. And the motorist, as the motorist passes, either the rear or front, they must visibly look to see no one is crossing the street. And must, if so, they must have free visual. Okay. Mouthful. If the school bus driver does not have the stop sign deployed, you may go around him. Now, he may forget to put the stop sign up. I've seen that. The stop sign may be broken and he may not know about it. I've seen that too. You have to look in all directions, go around the bus at about 5-10 miles an hour, and as you drive around, drive very, very slow. Because you may have the bus stopped and the guy forgot to put the sign up, and the kid, oh shit, that's my bus, running in the road. So keep your hands on the wheel, keep going forward, forward, forward. You may have a pedestrian, it could be an adult. He or she may be walking around, hey, this school bus is stopped, I'll cross the street here. Okay, and as you're driving down the road, a pedestrian may stop, may run out in front of the car. The bus stopped. Also, as you're passing the bus driver may be pulled over. I've seen this. Bus drivers get to this. Now, when I was a kid, the bus driver took off. Okay? Nowadays, bus drivers come to the bus stop and wait. And I've told bus drivers, get on the sidewalk, pull up on the sidewalk. And the cars pull right in. So, if you have a bus driver, come to the stop 5 minutes early, kid in here, I'll wait. And as he's waiting, you go around him. And as you're driving around him very slow, he sees the kid coming down the block. He puts the stop sign out. Once that stop sign comes, stop, period. Stop, no matter where you are. Once you see the stop sign come out, you stop, period. And let whoever happens, okay? If a traffic officer comes out, he will block the road. He will tell pedestrians to go. You have to stop, period. Now, if there's a traffic officer in the middle of the road with the bus, and the bus puts the stop sign away, if the traffic officer is still on the road, you have to wait for him to get out of the way. And I've had fucking people, I'm not even joking, I'll be staying in the middle of the fucking road, bus driver puts the stop sign away, kid comes across the road, and I gotta shove the fucking kid back because the car wants to fucking go. And I yell like crazy, you'd be surprised. Okay, I've already done this panel. Okay, emergency vehicle. And even though this is a little out of order, it's all here. Okay, I'm sorry that one page got mixed up, but it's all here. Okay, emergency vehicle. Federal law dictates that emergency vehicles always have the right of way. That means no matter where you are, as long as you are on a road on United States soil, that emergency vehicle goes, period. You must give them the right of way, period. You have to always assume that someone's gonna die. I've had times ambulance come by, it could be a fucking broken toe. I gotta assume it's life or death. Emergency vehicle, by the way. Emergency vehicle. I should have stapled these and numbered them, right? Motorist. All pedestrians should immediately reach the sidewalk upon the approach of the emergency vehicle. Instead, pedestrians must move away from the curb. That means, if you're a pedestrian and you hear the emergency vehicle coming, you don't know where he's going. You must move back. No matter what. If you hear that fucking siren, you get back. And when I say get back, I mean away from the curb. Because a lot of times, you may get a fucking fire truck, heavy duty fire truck. He may make a tight turn. He may hit the curb. Get back away from the curb. Give him all the room he needs. All motorists must cease in all directions, preferably at the intersection. That means stop, preferably at the intersection. Do not block the intersection. A lot of times the motorist will stop, emergency vehicle will cross the double yellow line, and they'll come right through. Okay, just stop and look around, make sure you're okay. If a motorist realizes they're blocking the path of the emergency vehicle, the safest course of action is to turn right. If the emergency vehicle also follows them, they should drive forward several additional feet and jump the curb. That means, if you're blocking the emergency vehicle, if you can, make a right-hand turn. Keep going. If he wants to follow you, jump up on the sidewalk. If you're a pedestrian and you see that emergency vehicle coming, get away from the curb, because cars gotta get on the sidewalk to get out of his way. I do it all the time. I'll have a fucking emergency vehicle coming down the middle of the road, and I'll say, you sidewalk. You sidewalk. It's like Moses with the Red Sea. Woof. It's amazing to look at. Cool. A motorist can run a red light if it is the only way to allow the emergency vehicle through. They should do this quickly and blow their horn to let anyone who may be forthcoming. They should then pull over on the side of the road until the emergency vehicle has passed. That means you're at a red light, emergency vehicle is coming. You're blocking him. Okay? Look in all directions, blow the horn, go through the red light, pull over as quickly as possible if possible. If the motorist is making a turn and the emergency vehicle approaches, they should complete their turn and pull over. Okay, because don't just sit there, oh, where the fuck's he coming? I've had times where I've got a guy in the middle of the fucking road, and I got an emergency vehicle coming, and there's a loading zone in front of the pharmacy. You pull in here real fast. Good. We're clear. I can move anything out of the path of an emergency vehicle. It's fucking amazing. If the motorists are backed up at the red light, they should all jump the curb. Jump the curb. I've had 20 motorists on each side of the road jump the curb. That means you're a pedestrian, you get back from the curb. Emergency vehicles oftentimes cross the double yellow line and drive down the opposite end of the road. Pass right by. If the emergency vehicle is performing this, all motorists should remain where they are. If more room is needed, the motorists should jump the curb. That means when you see that emergency vehicle come over the double yellow line, stay where you are, let them pass you. If you have to jump the curb, do it. Okay, now I apologize because I had one form. This is all in order, and I printed it in order, but I think I may have mixed them up when I was gathering them up. You know, double check, is this page here, is that page there? I may have missed one or two, I apologize for that. And a couple were given out of order, I apologize again. But all of this is here. Even if I gave it out of order, it is all here. Every single thing you see written here, on all 6 pages, there are about close to 70 points. I've seen every single one of them with my own eyes. That's right. So if you say, Vinny, that's not going to happen. Not only is it going to happen, I saw it happen, I wrote about it. Okay? This is the best guide that I can give you to keep you safe. Okay? That's the best I can do. This is here. Thank you.